Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to be having a look at the Nudge unit and net zero specifically.
The core is one, and I can behold the tide.
Now, if you didn't know what the Nudge unit is, it's the UK government's unit that uses behavioural science, manipulation in other words, it's a nice way of saying manipulation, of the public to get what it wants. Now they've just released a report that's dystopian at best and evil at worst. Have a listen to this. Now this is how to build a net zero society in their own words. Now they've said on this that net zero society will be using behavioural insights to decarbonise home energy, transport, food and material consumption. So I thought we'd have a read through what they actually say about it. So the executive summary says this: tackling climate change is not only a moral and legal obligation in the UK, shouldn't be either, but it is also a growth opportunity of the 21st century. Growth for who? It's not for us, is it, everyone? And is backed by huge public support. Where? You mean just stop oil and stuff like that? The 3.5 people that keep getting arrested? What about the ones that are throwing soup on paintings? You mean those sort of people? Because most people are just worried about cost of living, not the bloody state of the environment, especially considering we only kick out 1% of the world's CO2. 1%. Yet we're the ones that have got to suffer while they jet off all over the world to tell us that we're the ones that have got to suffer. So let's have a listen to what they actually want, shall we? The government's own data reveals high public concern for climate change. 84%. 84%? Rubbish. And polls have shown what they'll say is, do you care about looking after the environment? People will go, yeah, of course I do. And then they go, hey, see, climate change, They like climate change, put it down, tick. And polls have shown that over half of Brits think that 2050 is too late for net zero. Our own latest data show nearly 9 in 10 UK adults want government and business to show stronger leadership on this issue. Government and business, that's fascism. Am I wrong? Let's have a listen to this then. But delivery of net zero depends on substantial social and behavioural change. Achieving such widespread changes in behaviour is one of the biggest public engagement, political and technical challenges of the net zero transition. In other words, they've got to figure out a way to blag you. But it's also a huge opportunity, with climate scientists pointing out the massive carbon reductions offered if we all just adopt a handful of changes in our lives. Climate scientists follow the money, not the climate. Just saying. Indeed, the Climate Change Committee estimates that 62% of the necessary emissions reductions in the UK depends on behaviour. So it's me and you that are going to have to suffer. The biggest carbon reductions, 53%, come from the adoption of new technologies. Electric vehicles, they're going well, no one can charge them. Heat pumps, they're even better, they don't work. Home energy efficient improvements, which is cost for people like you and me that we can't afford. While 9% depend on lifestyle changes, including less red meat and dairy, more active travel. More active travel means you walk everywhere. It's not that you want to travel more, it's just that you've got to walk everywhere, so it's a bit more active. And less flying and driving. Not for them, obviously. They'll be able to carbon offset, won't they? They'll just pay a bit of dollar and be able to go about their lives as if nothing has happened. This is what this is going to do to everyone. It's going to segregate us all into serfs and the ones that can. We further argue, they said, that much of the remaining 38% also depends on social and behavioural constraints, including public support for green infrastructure and policy. So in other words, it relies on our compliance. Are you going to comply, everyone? Let me know in the comments if you are. The good news is that consumers want this change in their own lives, at least in principle. Wait until it costs even more. This is ridiculous. People are worrying about a cost of living crisis. They're worrying about putting food on the table or heating the homes, and they're saying everybody wants to do the green policies. Really? I'd like to see your evidence on that. But many of the necessary behaviours are currently too expensive, too inconvenient, too unappealing, or simply not the default or norm that we're used to. Now, if 9 out of 10 want to make substantial choices like they said, and that 9 out of 10 people want to actually do this in principle, how can they then say that everything to the people is too expensive, too inconvenient and too unappealing? Unappealing. In other words, nobody's up for it. Nobody wants to do it. That's unappealing, isn't it? For instance, heat pumps are too expensive and don't work. Electric vehicle ownership is too inconvenient for those without off-street parking, and the long charge times probably would be a major factor. All of the 20 most popular dishes cooked by Brits are conventionally meat-based, so they're going to get rid of the meat, eat the bugs and be happy. And there are no cheap and quick alternatives to long-haul flights. Put simply, our economy, infrastructure norms and media environment are not well designed for those who wish to live sustainably. You don't let us live sustainably, but without great personal effort or compromise, that is almost everyone. You hear that? Almost everyone. The almost means that the elites will be able to buy out of it with the carbon offsetting principle. You know, where you can do what the hell you like so long as you got the money to pay a bit. Are we not seeing a problem yet? Let me know what you think about this one though, everyone. I'd like to know your opinion. I will put the link to the report by the Nudge unit themselves and let you have a read through at your own leisure. There is a lot more in there that should not just worry you but terrify you. 146 pages of dystopia. Have a look, everyone. Stay sane. I'll see you on the next one.